welcome to a new video on my channel. Today we are going to be playing a different type of readathon or TBR prompt game. Normally every month I do the TBR jar that my best friend and I use, and a lot of the prompts actually came from this idea that Becca has. If you don't follow Becca in the Books on YouTube, I will link all of the information below, including the game that we're about to play, which is Becca's Bookoplathon. It is held every September for a month-long read-along, readathon, and I participated last year, obviously off camera, and I ended up doing the entire board and finishing it in December. I wanted to do all the prompts. I thought that was a really cool thing. A lot of the prompts that are in the TBR jar are either from that board that we did last year and I enjoyed, or similar takes, or just inspired from. So I really do enjoy these boards. This is a Monopoly setup, if you can't tell, and all the information that you need to know will be linked below if you want to participate yourself. I have all the information here printed out, ready to go. So I'm going to explain really quick what we've got set up here. We've got the board set up. We've also got chance cards and what are called the community shelf cards. And if you land on one of these places, so there's a chance and the community shelf is here, we're going to ignore that my nails are not looking great. I have to pull one of those cards, and the community shelf is prompts. So like read a fantasy or read the oldest book on your Goodreads or something like that is what Becca has written down in her information guide. I just wrote down 8 different prompts, and then 8 different books are on the back of these chance cards, and if I pull one of those, if I land on a chance slot, then I have to read that book. So I did 4 fantasy and 4 romance books on that. And this is my little marker. I don't have a little cute character to work with, so we're just going to use this sticky tag that I've doubled up so it won't be sticky to move around the board. I don't have dice either. Last year I just did a online generator. Unfortunately, I have that ready for you all on my phone, and that's going to mean strobing, so I do apologize for that. Aside from that, we all start at go. The rules, like I said, will be on her video, so if you want to check it out properly, please do check the links in the description. So let's just get into rolling for our attempt at this game. I'm going to go along with my same theme of pulling 6 prompts. I think that's achievable. However, Becca normally does, if she lands a double, then that means another prompt has to be rolled, so add an extra book onto the list. So I'm hoping we don't get too many doubles, because I'm going to follow that rule as well. But before we get into playing the game, let's recap on how August's TBR has gone. So if you haven't seen the video, it is in the description below, and I had 6 prompts to fulfill: paranormal, ebook, sci-fi, erotic romance, author pick, and myth, lore, legend, fairy tale. I didn't end up finishing the game. Today is the 29th of August, so I do have a couple more days left. However, I've got too much on and I know I'm not going to finish. So I did manage to do author pick, which was 𝓤𝓲𝓬𝓬, and I chose the fine print and I gave that 2 stars. I did not enjoy that book. For myth, lore, legend, fairy tale, I chose A Shield of Fate and Ruin by Nicole Bailey, which was an e-arc that I had, and I gave that one, I believe, 3.5. Yes, 3.5 stars. So those were original to those prompts. Again, another original prompt was ebook, and I was going to read another e-arc, which was Two Wrongs Make a Right by Chloe Leese. I gave that 4.5 stars, really enjoyed that book. And for paranormal, I was meant to be reading The Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I changed that out to With Fire in Their Blood, which was an e-arc that I read at the start of the month, and I gave that 4 stars. And for sci-fi, I'm unsure if I can say that I finished that prompt. I was originally meant to be doing The Darkest Star, also by Jennifer L. Armentrout. However, I've just not gotten around to it. I did, however, read Castle in the Air by Diana Wynne Jones, and on Goodreads it's somewhat classed as a sci-fi fantasy. I'm not sure if that fits, so we'll just have to see if that does in your mind. I'm just going to say that I didn't fulfill it. And I also haven't done the erotic romance. That means when we do the TBR jar again in October, I will have to pick up an extra prompt as punishment for not finishing this month. Okay, so we're ready to go. I've got the virtual dice roller up on the screen now. So here goes some strobing, everyone. Okay, roll number 1 is 7. So we landed on a chance card first go, so let's pick up that first chance card, and this will be a book that we have to read. And that one is, let me see if I can get it to focus on my hand, Only a Monster by Vanessa Lynn. Okay, so we drew out a chance card, and on the front was Only a Monster by Vanessa Lynn. This is a YA fantasy novel that I have had on my TBR for the longest time, and I've talked about it several times over in my TBR videos. This is about Joan, I believe. Let me quickly check. Yeah, Joan, and she goes to stay with family and discovers that she's actually a monster, and that her family has a lot more secrets than she was aware of. I have heard really great things about this book. It was a 2022 debut, and it's written by an Australian author, so I've really enjoyed the lead up to this, and I was actually fortunate to get a copy of the ARC sent to me as a gift, and that arrived after I brought this copy. So yeah, that was in February, and it is now going into September, and I still haven't read this book. I really need to do it, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm not sure why I've taken so long to pick it up, but this month I am definitely going to pick it up and read. Roll number 2 around the board. 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we've landed on Dice Roll Roulette, and I think this one is going to be interesting. So Dice Roll Roulette says that you need to pick a book with a similar length to the number you rolled, and on the list here is a bunch, oh gosh, is a bunch of book lengths. So depending on how many we roll is how many page numbers we need to have. So let's pick this up. Not explaining this very well, I'm sure we'll grab it in a minute though. Let's see. So we rolled a 9. Oh goodness. Okay, so 9 equals 400 and, oh, let's see if the camera can actually see this. Let's see. Can you focus, camera? There we go. 9 is 425 to 474 pages. So that'll be interesting. I'm sure I can find a book that's that long. So the second roll we got a dice roll roulette, and I had to find a book that is between 425 and 474 pages long, and I just so happened to be doing more of the Throne of Glass buddy read during that month, and I checked, and the Assassin's Blade fits that page count. I can't figure out exactly where the book fully ends, if it's got a let me see. It doesn't have page numbers for this part here, and it just says after, so I'm assuming this is like part 1 of, oh yeah, there's Throne of Glass. So there's 435 pages. Perfect, because we had to be between 425 and 474. So the Assassin's Blade will be that. This is deemed the prequel novellas to the Throne of Glass series, but we are not reading in chronological order or the way it has it here, and we're also not doing the tandem read of, is it Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn that you tandem read? I can't remember. All I know is that we're doing it in a certain order that my friend Millie has organised for our buddy read that we are hosting, and this book is September the 22nd we start, so it fits the bill. It means I don't have to find another book, and I searched my shelves for one that fitted the page count, and believe me, it's actually quite hard to find one. Most of my books are either 400 and below or much higher, so yeah, I'm excited to get to this one. I really like the cover, it's really pretty. So that was roll number 2. Let's go with roll number 3 now, which is 5. Summer. So that is to pick a book that reminds me of summer, and some of the information Becca gave for summer was romance, bright colours on the cover, thriller, fast-paced story, or an easy read. And I'm going to go probably with a romance, so I will pick a book and let you know what I've chosen. So the third roll was summer, and I am going with, I haven't actually got it out, let me grab it, the sequel, or the second book in this series, by Elena Ames, The American Roommate Experiment. I absolutely loved The Spanish Love Deception last year. It was my favourite romance of the year, and I am going to reread this very soon to prepare for the next book in the series. I have this on pre-order, so I will definitely be reading it over September as soon as I get a copy of it in my hand. So this is going to be following along with, is it Rosie, her best friend. Lena's best friend in this is Rosie, so she is the main female character in the next book, and Lena's cousin Lucas comes to America, and they fake date, I believe, or he is helping her with setting up how to become a romance writer and giving her sort of tips on dating for the characters or something along those lines. I'm really excited for it. I have been waiting a very long time for it, and yeah, I'm definitely going to read it as soon as I get my hands on that book. It comes out on the 6th of September, so I'm assuming that it'll be a mid-September read, which is going to be frustrating because there's 2 books coming out on the 13th of September, and I want to read both of them as well. So we'll just see how it balances out, but I will definitely be reading it in September. So that was roll number 3. We're going to do roll number 4 now. We have 5 again. Oh goodness. Okay, TBR game. So it said for that you need to find a TBR game or a game that you do yourself. So 1 second. So I have grabbed the TBR jar. It feels very much so like going full circle and coming home again. So let's see what we can grab out of the jar today for this prompt. Okay, I've grabbed a prompt. What have we got? A contemporary romance. That will be easy. I can think of a few. Then the 4th roll was, I landed on TBR game, and because I have my own TBR game, I did the TBR jar and I landed on contemporary, and I am going to pick up Second First Impressions, goodness me, by Sally Thorne. This is set in a rest home, I believe, yeah, in a retirement village, and so he's a rich boy, she's, I'm guessing, not poor, but working hard at her job because she has to, and opposites attract, I'm guessing. It's going to be quite fun. I just picked this up because I wanted to get to it. I enjoyed the hating game, and now it's time to give this one a go. I believe I had it on my TBR a couple of months ago, but I didn't end up getting to it. So I'm going to try and read it this month coming. So the main characters are Ruthie and Teddy, and I'm looking forward to meeting both of them. So this will be number 5. Oh, we've closed out. 1 second. Okay. I do wish I had dice. 4. Oh, can I pick it up? Colour wheel. So we have landed on the colour wheel, and it says here, use a random colour wheel to generate a colour. Find a book that has a colour, that colour on the cover. And so I've just gone and found a colour generator, and it, unfortunately the strobing is awful. It brings up a colour automatically, but let's push this button right here. Mint turquoise. So the next row landed on colour, and we got mint turquoise, and this is the closest book that I've not read on my shelf to that colour. I have about 3 that I'm looking at right now that would have been perfect for that colour, but I've read them all. So I'm going to go with Shadow Me by Tahira Murphy. I've been meaning to get to this for months now, and I actually don't know much about it, if anything at all. I know there's a character called Juliet and someone called Warner, or Aaron, or something like that. I see a lot of it on Bookstagram, but don't really pick up on it. I think it's dystopian. It says the moon understands what it means to be human, uncertain, alone, created by imperfections. No one knows why Juliet's touch is fatal, but the re-establishment has plans for it. Yeah, that's very dystopian, is it not? So she's probably fighting for her freedom. Oh yeah, it's set in a riveting dystopian world. Sounds great. I'm really looking forward to it. Let's give this one a go. Okay, and then for our last roll, let's just grab that again. Okay. Oh no, we got a double, so we have to roll one more time. Okay, but we got 10, so let's go around the board. Multi-perspective. So that means that we have to find a book that has more than one point of view being represented in it. Number 6, we landed on multi-perspective or multi-point of view. And I'm cheating again. I'm going to use Queen of the Shadows by Sarah J. Maas because, like I said, we're still going to be continuing on with the Throne of Glass buddy read during that time. And this one comes before the Assassin's Blade, and this one's like really chunky. I think it's 600 something pages. And I can guarantee that there are going to be multiple point of views in this because we've had them all the way through so far. I can't see why it would suddenly stop. I cannot talk about what this book is about because I'm not even here yet. We are about to start book 3, Heir of Fire. So this is book 4. So I have no idea what happens because I have to get here first. And so for our final roll, okay, be a good one. 9. 9? Yeah, 9. Small book. So that means we have to find a book that's under 300 pages long, or something as close as possible to that. I think this is all very achievable. And because we ended up with a double on the last one, I had to pick another book, and it was small book, which means a book that is 300 pages or less. I wanted to try and get this whole TBR done with physical books, even though I don't have a physical copy of what is it? The American Roommates Experiment. I will when I read it, so I wanted to try and stick to that the whole way through, and we're going to do Love at First Sight by Anna E. Collins. This is 302 pages, so 2 pages over. I don't see that as a problem. I have no idea. I got this for my birthday, and my best friend didn't take off the sticker of how much it costed, but that's okay. Let's do that real quick. And I'm guessing it's an office romance. It's a revenge romance.
They say living well is the best revenge, but sometimes spreading the misery seems a whole lot more satisfying. That's interior designer Danny Porter's justification for buying the vacant lot next to her ex-fiance's house, the house they were supposed to live in together before he cheated on her with their realtor. Danny plans to build a vacation rental that will A, mess with his view and his peace of mind, and B, prove that Danny is not someone to be stepped on. Welcome to Project Spite House. That plan quickly becomes complicated when Danny is forced to team up with Wyatt Montego, a handsome, haughty architect at her firm, and the only person available to draw up blueprints. Wyatt is the kind of man who eats his sandwich with a knife and fork. I mean, I've done that before in the past. But as they spend time together, Danny glimpses something but deeper beneath his hard veneer, and the closer she gets to her goal, the more she wonders if winning revenge could mean losing something infinitely sweeter. Sounds really good. I haven't heard anything about it. That's just my first glimpse of that. Like I said, I got this for my birthday, and I'm eager to see how it goes. So, for the final 3 books, I actually don't have covers for 2 of them, or books in physical form to share. The first book is The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. Comes out on September the 13th. The other one that comes out on that day is Defend the Dawn by Bridget Kemmermere. Both of those books are must-reads for September. I've been anticipating them for the longest time, and I cannot wait to read either of them. So the most anticipated book of this year for me is The Ballad of Never After. Once Upon a Broken Heart was my favourite book of all last year, and I am a huge Stephanie Garber fan. I have so many of her books now, different copies of them, and I honestly cannot wait to pick it up. I've actually pre-ordered from the UK one of the secret covers, and I will be getting a US copy as well. Not, unfortunately, the Barnes & Noble one. I just can't seem to get my hands on that one. But I'm very, very eager to get both copies, and then I'll also have a paperback that I'll be reading from as soon as it comes out in the store. And I'm just really, really excited to continue on with where Stephanie Garber left that world, and find out for once and all if it's a duology or a trilogy, because she's been hinting on whether or not it will be, and we had to find out when we read it. So very excited for that. And the other one I mentioned was Defend the Dawn, which is the second book in the Defy the Night series by Bridget Kemmermere, and I absolutely loved this book. Tessa and Korik are some of my favourite characters I've ever read, and that was my first Bridget book, and unfortunately Curse Breakers really let me down. So I'm hopeful that the second book of the series won't follow the same sort of decline as what's the name of that book? A Heart So Fierce and Broken. I think that's the second book in Curse Breakers, because I absolutely adored A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I really liked the setup of that world, and I've loved the setup of Defy the Night. It was an easy 5-star read, and I hope that the same thing doesn't happen with Defend the Dawn, and it continues on as brilliantly as it's been set up. And the last book on the TBR that I do have a physical copy of, actually, is Book of Night by Holly Black. I've really been wanting to read this ever since I got a copy of it, but I just keep putting it off for some reason. I was fortunate enough to read the first 3 chapters. I was sent them on NetGalley, and I really enjoyed what I read. So this follows Charlie, and it's set in a world where your shadow self can be changed and manipulated and have special gifts, and you can also lose it altogether. And she seems to be quite a morally grey person, and there is definitely a backstory there that is interesting, and there was a murder that happened in those first 3 chapters that I'm really intrigued to find out how it happened and why. So let's try and read this book next month as well. Thank you so much for stopping by today and checking out my TBR with me and watching me play Becca's Bookoplathon. I hope you enjoyed Next month for October we will be back to using the TBR jar, and I am very much so excited for that return. Thank you for watching. Bye everyone.